Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
Governor Whitmer urging parents of 12 to 15-year-olds to get their kids vaccinated after the FDA grants the Pfizer vaccine emergency use authorization.
Fired while he was out of town after he says he found hard evidence of city corruption. Tonight, the former Ecorse police chief is speaking candidly about it all to the Local 4 defenders.
We're going to start with breaking news from Warren. That's where police are searching for a man accused of kidnapping a woman.
Police are looking for 31-year-old Adrian Lamar Brown. He allegedly kidnapped his ex-girlfriend, Michelle Jackson. It happened at a Subway on 9 Mile near Shaner this afternoon. Police say Brown was sentenced last week for a similar crime.
I would consider him armed and dangerous. In this particular crime, he implied that he had a gun when he did the abduction. He forced the victim into the car. We're obviously concerned for her safety. He has a history of this. He has a violent past. We want to find her and make sure she's safe first and foremost.
Police are looking for this burgundy SUV. It has Florida plates and smashed out back windows. It was last seen near 7 Mile and I-75 in Detroit. Anyone with information is asked to call Warren Police.
Tonight, the veteran police official who was suddenly fired by the city of Ecorse is not going quietly.
Dr. Joseph Thomas is an expert in finding public corruption, but was fired, he says, after he blew the whistle on some serious allegations. Local 4 defender Sean Lay had the opportunity to speak with Dr. Thomas today, and Sean, he wasn't even in town when City Council voted to fire him.
Dr. Thomas says he still hasn't been told by the city of Ecorse that he is out of a job. Let's boil all this down for you. Thomas, as chief, says he found that some police officers and some within city government were allegedly illegally profiting off of stolen cars. He reported it. He was fired last week, and as you say, he's not going quietly.
I had enough time and enough people giving me information. I didn't only tell you what they did, but how they did it.
That's the voice of Dr. Joseph Thomas. He was Ecorse police chief until last week when City Council suddenly fired him. He was in the middle of an investigation into Ecorse police, public officials, and how stolen cars were handled. Thomas says people allegedly profiting off vehicles that didn't belong to them.
Matter of fact, I was still investigating. I still got things that need to be investigated. I mean, I got cars I can't account for. I've got hard evidence that this person did something that's a felony.
Hard evidence of felonies. Yet Thomas's attorney, Leonard Mungo, says some at Ecorse City Hall did not like the investigation, made life miserable for Thomas, and he filed a whistleblower lawsuit. Last week, council fired Thomas while he was out of town.
No initiatives were taken to remove or even suggest that Dr. Thomas should be removed as Director of Public Safety for Ecorse until January, after the whistle was blown. That's when all of the adverse actions begin to take place.
Right. Let's not try it in the media, but don't, as my grandmother would say, don't lie on me.
Some strong words there by the former chief. City of Ecorse put out a statement last week saying a previous council illegally hired Thomas in the first place. Thomas and his attorney says that's not the case at all. Bottom line here, Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, Attorney General's office here in Michigan, and the FBI investigating everything Thomas has brought them. Back to you.
Okay, Sean, thank you.
Let's move now to coronavirus as the state sees another day of under 2,000 cases over a 24-hour period. Today, Michigan reporting 1,992 new cases, but also reporting 99 more deaths to the virus. Today, 55.3% of eligible adults in Michigan have received at least one vaccine dose. State's next milestone that we're trying to hit now would be 60%. After we reach that, the state will increase capacity limits and lift the curfew on bars and restaurants. Now, while case rates are dropping, Michigan remains the only state at a very high risk level, according to the COVID Act now. The Whitmer administration feels vaccinating children is going to be an important part, though, of moving to that next level of progress. We bring in Priya Mann live now with the governor and the lieutenant governor and the way that they're urging parents to consider this Pfizer shot. Priya?
Yeah, well, Devin, the lieutenant governor has just launched the Making Real tour. He'll be going to cities across the state talking about his own experience getting the shot. And Governor Whitmer says getting kids 12 to 15 immunized brings the state one step closer to what could feel like a more normal school year in the fall.
We think very soon. I mean, probably in the next day or two, those will begin in earnest.
Governor Whitmer encouraged parents to get their kids vaccinated as she toured a clinic in Kalamazoo after Pfizer was granted emergency use authorization for kids 12 to 15.
That's going to be our next big push, and so we want to enlist the support and help of parents and educators so our kids can be safe and back in school universally come this fall.
Just like in-person instruction, Whitmer says school districts will implement their own vaccine policies.
There's no conversation in Lansing about mandates at all.
I know 27 people who've died of COVID-19. I do not want to have a 28th. I certainly would not want to have that 28th person be somebody who was 12, 13, 14, or 15.
At this time, the new age group won't be included in the 4 vaccination threshold set out by the state. This week, we hit the first milestone with 55% of Michiganders 16 and up having at least 1 dose. Reaching that first tier was boosted in part by including those who got the shot out of state. Officials say getting to 60% and beyond will take renewed efforts.
We're hoping to hit it in the coming weeks. But that again is predicated upon people making the choice. We need to talk about our experiences. That is what moves someone from not getting vaccinated to making the choice to get vaccinated.
We all want to resume the things that we've been missing out on, but all of that ability is dependent on events like this, the community coming together to get people vaccinated and to keep people safe.
And Governor Whitmer says their state is still waiting on guidance from the feds about this new age group that's become eligible. She also talked about people requiring a booster shot in about 6 months and working through the logistics of that rollout. So still a lot of moving parts here. Reporting live tonight, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
So right. All right, Priya.
A new investigative report says the University of Michigan missed numerous chances to stop abuse by former team sports doctor Robert Anderson. The report was commissioned by the university. It says a senior university administrator was told about Dr. Anderson's misconduct several times between 1978 or 1979 and 1981, but did not take action. It also says concerning information was shared with other university personnel. The report concludes Dr. Anderson's misconduct may have been detected earlier and brought to an end if the university had taken the misconduct claims seriously. It also said there's, quote, no doubt Dr. Anderson engaged in a prolonged pattern of sexual misconduct.
Former United Auto Workers President Dennis Williams sentenced to 21 months in federal prison for stealing from union members. 67-year-old is the highest-ranking UAW official to be sentenced. Prosecutors said Williams took advantage of his position, living a life far removed from the rank-and-file members he was supposed to be representing. The 4-year prosecution has secured 15 convictions and revealed UAW leaders and auto executives broke labor laws, stole union money, and received bribes and kickbacks. The UAW just released a statement on the sentencing, and it reads in part, former UAW member and President Dennis Williams has rightfully been sentenced today for his crimes that put his personal and self-interest above that of our members and this union. These serious crimes violated the oath of UAW officers, and they violated the trust of UAW officers to handle our members' sacred dues money. President Biden is going to visit Michigan next week. On Tuesday, he'll tour the Ford Rouge Electric Vehicle Center in Dearborn. That visit comes ahead of the automaker's unveiling of the all-electric F-150 Lightning truck. The F-150 is the best-selling U.S. vehicle, and the EV's version success is going to be critical to U.S. efforts to shift the vehicle fleet to a more sustainable model. President Biden's visit comes as he makes a push for a $174 billion government boost for electric vehicles and charging station networks.
A CDC advisory panel will meet tomorrow to vote on whether to recommend the Pfizer vaccine for children ages 12 to 15. They'll be reviewing the safety data from clinical trials involving more than 2,000 adolescents. One of those trials took place at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. And tonight we're hearing from the researchers and those who were among the first to roll up their sleeves.
I feel it's very important for as many people to get vaccinated for coronavirus as possible. I think that's the only way that we're going to get back to normal, to allow the children back to their normal lives, back to normal activities.
Amanda Dropic has 4 children enrolled in the Pfizer vaccine trials, including 2 sons in the 12 to 15-year-old group.
I talked to my kids about it. We all agree that in order for everybody to get vaccinated, somebody has to be willing to step up and go first. And we believe in science. We believe in evidence-based medicine.
Her son Ben is a high school junior and received the actual vaccine.
I'm just really looking forward to hanging out with friends you know, having times with them, actually going places without worrying about masks or where I can eat.
Lead researcher Dr. Robert Frank says those aged 12 to 15 in the trial actually responded better to the vaccine.
The 12 to 15-year-olds made significantly higher antibody response than the 16 to 17-year-olds and young adults.
The level of side effects was the same as those seen in older teens. Frank urged parents to get their children vaccinated as soon as they're eligible.
We've had over 300 children in the United States die of COVID. We've had over 14,000 children hospitalized with COVID and millions that have been infected. I can't tell you which child is going to be the one that's going to get seriously ill. And that's why we really need to vaccinate everyone.
Now, if the CDC advisory panel votes to recommend the vaccine for those ages 12 to 15 and the CDC director signs off, those shots could start as early as Thursday. They would be available immediately at pharmacies and other vaccination sites, as well as some pediatricians' offices in the coming days.
All right, ahead here at 6, inconspicuous she was not. A porch pirate wearing hot pink and spreading out of a U-Haul truck. We'll hear from the person whose doorbell camera captured the video coming up.
We'll have that, and here's Ben.
Kim, all green on Storm Tracker 4, and we've got some showers out there tonight, but expecting to see frost by morning. We'll look at when the trend finally turns coming up.
Ben. And up next, what Governor Whitmer had to say today about Chief Craig's retirement from DPD and the possibility he might enter the next race for governor.